Morning, you guys. Hope you're well. Yeah, it's been a while, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been making videos as of late. And yeah, just I've been needing to take a rest and a little bit of a break from things. But here's something very interesting that I need to tell you. And this is going to be a bit broad in terms of the natural scope of what I'm covering, because this is more about me speaking about one particular nation, and this is the UK. Now, I've had delvings with the UK as of late, if anybody knows what I've been up to, and if you checked out the interview with MasterChef Toast and why that interview ended up on the Crispy Tea channel instead of its intended network and platform, was down to the fact that they played the God card with me. Okay, which means that I was not to speak about God, I was not to speak about anything heavenly, and again, when I'm dealing with musicians, okay, as in musicians just as a whole, and be it that even if they fall in the realm of Christianity or gospel music as such, nobody had a problem with it, okay? And whereas it was okay before to promote Christian musicians and gospel musicians, but when I started putting it in biblical terms and it started giving it a reference in to scripture, that's when the editor and the actual publication itself had a problem with this, and why I actually quit the publication at the time. So, with this said, this is just another opinion piece, right? This is not something that God gave me as such in terms of a channel message or anything or any of the prophecies that I've put out or anything of the sort, because right now it's just I've just been on a break. There are things that I'm aware of, but I've also been quiet about, and I've just been asked to be quiet at the moment. So I'm just giving you an update in this instance, and I'm just gonna go back and not to digress too much. And I'm going to go back into the what I spoke about the UK as such, and this is what I've come to find. Okay, I have a friend who was originally born and was not necessarily raised, but came to South Africa from a very early age. So yeah, so this friend of mine is from the UK, and when I told her what actually happened regarding my last job or gig, she wondered, okay, did I at least get my money back? And I'm like, no, I don't want their money. If their money is coming with certain attachments that I serve another agenda and I serve anyone other than God, then they can keep it themselves, because I'm all for the Almighty Jehovah, and that's who I'm who I work for. And yes, and I actually, there's a revelation that I can give. However, like, let me just say, I'm on the sides of the heavens and I report to Jesus. Okay, that's just plain how it is, and that's how I explained it right before delving into every other thing. And for all those that want to know more about me, please go on over to the Patreon, and I'll leave the links in the description box. So yeah, so I went into this, and I told everybody what it is that I do. Well, not everybody. I told the lady who was talking to me as to what I do now, and what she said was this regarding the UK. And remember, now she's from there. She's from there. So she says that this is just typical of what happens in the UK. That yeah, if you start speaking about God or any sort of religion, or it's not even about any sort of religion, funny enough. I think it's more against Christianity. And if you start speaking about that, or you start getting biblical about that, they just find it inappropriate, apparently. And I'm like, really now? Because here's the funny thing, and this is why I just want to say, is that the UK, does anyone know the national anthem of the UK? Do you know what it's called? God Save the Queen. So they had God Save the Queen. Okay, but and I just want to point out some fallacies over here, because here's the national anthem, and it's all about, which is very religious, and it's meaning they want heaven's bestowment on their royal monarchy. Okay, so they recognize that, but then when it comes to their enterprise and everything else, oh no, it's okay to toe the line and not to speak boldly about Christianity or God of Israel or the God of the Bible. So, but they still want the God's blessing upon their nation. And that's what they proclaim, because that's a gospel in itself. So, therefore, you cannot say you want gospel musicians and not have them speak the gospel, okay, and not have them having to speak about God. Okay, and so it's fine to have this watered down version of Christianity, as I just like to credit Marcus Rogers worded it, that everyone is a Christian until it gets biblical. And that's exactly what I've come to find. And on top of that is that, sorry about that, this is South Africa, and those, do you hear those birds? They're called ladi-das. I'm so sorry. So let me get back to this. So when it has to be Christian, it must be watered down. It must be the acceptable version of Christianity, the politically correct version of Christianity. And this is what's funny about the UK is that on it's fine that they want to be socialist on certain fronts, and then they also want to be this um, hardcore, brutal capitalists, and apparently, hence why you saw things like the Brexit happen, and the things like the not necessarily the Brexit, and of course when it comes to all this COVID and everything else, and being in complete synchronization with other governments and everything and everybody else is doing. So one day they want to be this, but then it was like what happened with the EU situation. They were all in on the European Union, but no, but the pound sterling must remain the pound sterling. Therefore, they did not adopt the euro as in the currency in itself. So again, one foot in, one foot out. I've just always found that particular element about the UK, which is a bit weird, and I just feel like this is deeply embedded. And now I'm speaking from it from a spiritual perspective, that how do you want heaven's bestowment and heaven's blessing upon your nation, but you deny the powers thereof? So, in other words, that you do not want to be in subjection to God and the heavens. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way I'm calling it. Okay, and this is not me coming at the UK or British people. Please, no. I just feel like this is strictly power based, and strictly more about the governors and officials and all those in high places. And I just find that very, very strange. And I'm just saying that, guys, and I will give you an update that the publication in itself, and what happened was this, is that shortly after leaving the publication, I don't know if I may have mentioned it in the interview with Chef Toast, that it was like what I saw happening was mainly them taking on God, and it wasn't a battle they were going to win. And again, and now it's not even 2 months after me leaving the publication, and the publication is already offline. It was quite strange. I don't know what for. I don't know why, but I saw that coming. There was something, like I said, when you have a relationship with God and He reveals certain things to you, and He'll show you certain things. So and like in the first place, I was led there by the Spirit of God anyway, and quite clearly there were certain things that He was just showing me. And I'd just like to say, like, to the UK, and because, like you've seen, I've already sent the warning over to the Australian government, and in regards to what happened with Darwin City. And so I just like to say, guys, like, UK guys, just make a choice, and I think stick to the side of God, and have His will upon your nation. All right, and do not oppose, because if you checked out my latest updates and things, it's raining quite. I think it's quite let me not say raining. It's more like not to say that God was ever out of control, not in control, but let's just put it this way. I think what has happened now, and like I was saying, I was talking about the cloud that has now descended upon the land. Okay, and basically saying, and it was descending upon the earth really as a whole, and I'm talking everywhere on the earth. Is that as far as people and trying to do things and trying to be doing things away from God and trying to move away from God, I think those times are, it's like I think there was that grace period for I don't know how long the Earth's existence has been, but for whatever centuries or yeah, however we want to mark the ages, but I think there's the time has now come where really, if ever now, you're either going to restore God's order and mainly know that we are now subject to Jesus's rule and his return, okay, and also know that in terms of having to do things where it's like, oh well, we can delve over on this side and do things for the money and bow down to idolatry, and not necessarily idols as per se, but it could be money, it could be your you catering towards your lust and everything, and everything else taking a, a preference over God. I think that grace period has sort of lapsed, and I'm not saying that there won't be certain people who won't be trying their luck or who won't be getting away with it for an extended period or relative extended period of time. It's just that I just think that it's now more dangerous than ever. Not to say that because God is dangerous, but then what I'm saying is that it is dangerous in the sense that God's protection and God's grace upon you is going to be very much taken away from you, especially if you're a repeat offender. Okay, so learn to listen and learn to move with God and heaven's plan for the earth. So I just like to say that to the UK that I think your governors and necessarily I'm not too sure exactly as far as the royal family and everything else, and this is not about them as per se, this is more about whatever power they have to reign in. And remember that you're the one that proclaimed God save the Queen. So make sure that you also do, and you then follow through with God's plan because you have now entered that covenant. So it was fine when England was and I also had a vision about a white horse, funny enough, and was moving south. And so basically what I'm saying, and this is about all conquering. If you know about the Revelation 6 and the white seal over there, the ones that they came to conquer, and I'm saying that it was fine when England was going around having their colonies everywhere and they were conquering in the name of the Queensland, in the name of the Queen, who was then deemed subject to the Almighty God and the God of heaven and the God of Israel, right? But then all of a sudden now that they're no longer conquering and but they're maintaining the status quo more so, that all of a sudden it's fine now to remove themselves from God. So how did they stop conquering? Because now it's saying to me that, well, you're no longer conquering because of the fact that you moved away from God. And that's just my summary. This is just my opinion. You're welcome to tell me whatever you want to tell me. Leave me a message on the comment section. Hit me up. Holla at your boy Crispy. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon, I promise. Anyway, cheers and bye-bye. God bless.